how's it going, people? Today I'm going to mix it up a little bit and do something a little different for you guys, just because this month is kind of slow on 4K and Blu-ray reviews. And today I'm actually going to review Jedi the Fallen Order, and that is something that I was really looking forward to as far as games go. I am a gamer. I do love to play video games. I just don't play as many because I have this channel and I have a lot of stuff to do as far as the channel, so sometimes that kind of takes a back seat. And I was able to get right into this game and finish it for you guys real quick, so let's get straight into it, starting off with the campaign. And this is a game that lives and dies by its campaign because that's all there is. There is no multiplayer to this game. So this campaign better be damn good. And you know what? It is. I won't go into a lot of story plot points, but what I will say is some of it is spoiler heavy, so I don't really want to spoil anything for you guys. I know that certain things were spoiled for me, and I'm not going to do that to you. So what I will just say is your main character is Cal here. He is a Jedi that has kind of lost his way, and this whole journey that he goes on is all about finding his way. He has a new friend that contracts him to do some missions for him, and you guys both go out on a journey together. And that is pretty much the story of this game. You go to a bunch of different planets. Some of them are spoilers, so I didn't want to reveal all of them. And the matter of fact, a lot of the gameplay footage that I'm going to show you guys is just from the first 4 hours of this game. And that is because after that it kind of goes into some fan service spoilery kind of territory that I really don't want to ruin for you guys, because it literally it really affected me in ways that other games that went to these same locations I didn't really have any feelings for. But because this game was so good and I was so gripped by it, I definitely went for the ride, and I was very well serviced by where they took me in this game and this campaign. It is just the right length. It is about 15 hours. If you do a lot more exploring and a lot more of the side quests, I would say that it would take you more to 25, even more like 30 hours. But I did do just enough to get a good feel for it and just enough exploration to really understand the world and what it had to offer. And what this has to offer is great. I loved it. I really did dig this campaign, and I am actually going to give it a 10 out of 10. As far as the campaign goes, this is what I want. And as far as the gameplay goes, I would consider it a third-person action platformer, and that is, you know, the kind of thing that I can definitely get into as far as, like, you know, the newer Tomb Raider games and all that kind of stuff. I definitely love third-person platform games. That's just my jam. But on top of that, they have incorporated a Dark Souls-esque combat system to this game that kind of bumps me in the opposite direction. I don't get to spend 30 hours on a game anymore, so unfortunately, getting into a game like Dark Souls can be a daunting task for me. But what I will say here is this is very much Dark Souls light, and that is something that is very intriguing to me and awesome, just because of the fact that I did get the challenge that I wanted from this campaign, and I didn't get the soul-crushing hard difficulty that I feel like some Dark Souls games have. The platforming here is done excellent. If you are a fan of platforming, then you will be done great service by this game. Now, I will say that some people have complained that it kind of takes away from the whole feel of Star Wars. You know, you don't get to see a whole lot of platforming elements in Star Wars mythology and in other Star Wars games, to be quite honest with you. And so this can kind of take you out of it. But what I will say is, you know what? If you are a fan of platforming, to see that in a Star Wars game is pretty refreshing, to be quite honest with you, and I feel like it was done very, very well. And as far as the combat here with the Dark Souls elements, I would say that this is very Dark Souls light. I have played Dark Souls, and I will just say that if I get hit once or twice, that is it. I want to restart and go back to my spawn points just because of the fact that I feel like it is over, because I know I'm going to need all of my potions for when I get to that boss. And that is something that is kind of really disappointing to me in Dark Souls type games. But this game, I felt like I was free to kind of not worry about that as much, and that is very important to me. But I was still very challenged by this game, and you do have to pay attention to a lot of the blocks and the parries that you have to do, along with when to strike and when not to. Now, I will say that the lightsaber combat in this game is excellent. I love it. It is one of the best things in games this year. I love the lightsaber combat in this game. And sometimes when I went into a world where I knew that crashing into the pots and the pans that were there wouldn't really give me anything, I still did it anyway because I just loved working with this lightsaber and destroying everything in my path. Boss battles are challenging, and you do have to pay attention to their blocks and their parries. But what I will say is, at no point in time did I feel like I was just stuck, and I did not know what the hell to do. I knew just by paying attention what to do, what I needed to do, and it only took me a couple of times to really get it down pat at most. And then on top of that, you also get upgrades for your character as well, whether it's force that you're going to upgrade, or your combat, or your life and your health. All of that is very well implemented here. And for that, the gameplay here is going to get a 9 out of 10 from me. This is really, really solid stuff. And as far as the video and the audio here goes, this is another really solid entry in this game. I actually played this on a PC at the high level of the graphics, and that is something that was just really just a pleasant experience. So the one thing that I definitely gravitated to as far as the graphics goes the most is just the lighting and the textures of these characters. You know, when a character is wet or it is raining, you can see the gloss all over these characters, and it feels very real, and that is because the texturing of this game is just unbelievable. The worlds here have so much detail to them, it is insane. And I love the fact that when you first go into a level, it feels kind of small. It feels like you are kind of funneled into one location, which is important just to know like where the hell you're supposed to go. But once you learn that location, there are a bunch of shortcuts and different ways to go that open up the entire world that you are in, and then it becomes more of a sandbox-esque area that really lets you play along and find different collectibles and different parts of this game that I love. There is a decent amount of variation in each world. I would have liked a little bit more, but what I will say is the more that you go into the game, the more varied it becomes, and the more I became more pleased with the variation of just the landscapes in general in this game. And when you're talking about the audio here, the audio is excellent. There is no Dolby Atmos here, but there is options to go with stereo or headphones, 5.1 or 7.1, and you guys know that I went with the 7.1 just because that was the better of all of the audio. I hooked it up to my surround sound, I hooked my PC up to it, and then, you know what? This sounded great. A lot of the speaker separation is great here. You get all the blaster bolts and the lightsaber action and all of that throughout all of your speakers, and bass response here was great also. This is going to get a 9 out of 10 from me. And getting into the replayability here. This is an area that this game could suffer from just because of the fact that there is no multiplayer. And for replayability, people expect multiplayer in today's gaming. But with all of the collectibles here and just how fun this game is, I would say that it definitely lands on its feet, and this is very replayable. Now, you have so many collectibles for your lightsaber. It is insane. You can upgrade the texturing, the color of your saber itself, and almost every part of it, even the button that your character presses. Can you see it when you're playing the game? No, not really. You cannot see that button, but just knowing that it's there and it looks that damn cool is all I need. And on top of that, you can collect all of these souls that are littered all throughout the game and expands its universe just a little bit, and then actually gives you XP. And let me tell you that it makes a difference, because I actually found a decent amount of these souls, and I was getting XP like crazy and leveling up like crazy during this game, and I really felt like that was very fulfilling for me personally, and I would definitely come back to this game. It's really damn great. You can upgrade almost everything about this game, and you know what? That is something to actually go and replay the game and try to do, and that is why I am actually going to give this a 9 out of 10. And getting into my last looks at Jedi Fallen Order, this game is everything that I wanted it to be. I'm a Star Wars fan. I feel like that I haven't been served that well by Disney when it comes to Star Wars. And this is one of my favorite Star Wars properties to come out in a very long time. EA has not really done us well by their Star Wars games, but this game, this is the direction that I want them to go in. I play games for wish fulfillment, people, and I want to actually feel like I am powerful like this character. I want to project myself onto this character, and I was absolutely able to do that with this game. It is a great achievement for EA. And hey, no microtransactions. You can get all of the unlockables just through the playing the game and finding all of the upgrades, which is excellent. And that is why when you add up all my scores, you come out to a 37 out of 40. That is really damn good. And I am just so glad that the 2 games that I have reviewed on this channel, that I picked to review on this channel, have gotten really high scores. And I just feel like I picked 2 really good ones for you guys. So here's to more good luck from me. So coming up next on the channel, I am going to get back into reviewing 4K releases with Suspiria. That is something that I have absolutely been looking forward to. It is actually my #1 release for this month for things that I was actually looking forward to. So I can't wait to get that for you guys. It is actually coming in the mail tomorrow. I will be filming that review and getting that to you guys real damn quick. So as always, thank you for watching my videos. You guys are awesome. I don't need to say it because you know it. And I will see all of you next time.